Welcome to Generator, your view into the ever-evolving and vibrant art scene in Ireland today. On this episode we feature the sixth artist from Generator's second group show, sculptor Richy Quinn. We take a walk through Dublin's back streets and laneways to view the colourful street art the city has to offer. Firstly, we meet with Rowena Neville, Director of Marketing and PR at Business to Arts.
My name is Rowena Neville and I'm the Director of Marketing and PR for Business to Arts. I've been here, nearly a decade now, and before that I worked for, nearly 17 years in the Irish Museum of Modern Art and the National Centre for Culture and Arts, as was before IMA opened in the Royal Hospital. I guess I've always worked in communications, in marketing and public relations, and in the last 5 years at IMA I was head of sponsorship and fundraising. So that was a very natural evolution, and coming to work for somewhere like Business to Arts was great for me, because I used my experience at IMA to come somewhere like here to tell artists how they can engage with business and how they can work better. But on the other side then telling businesses why they should engage with artists, and of course having had that background I was kind of able to do that. In terms of why businesses should get involved and whether they do or not, I think that's evolved a lot over the last few years. I think that businesses have become better at articulating why they want to do it, and I think that on the cultural side I think we've become better at understanding where the money comes from and how they justify it internally and what the language is that you need to use, and also being really clear and understanding what the objective is of the business, and it's different in every relation and every partnership, so that when it's finished you can better articulate how and why it worked, if it did, and also then continue the conversation for the next engagement. The arts are great for providing the opportunity for the night out or for the networking opportunity during the interval of the theatre show or the opening of the art exhibition. It can also be great for community engagement. So, you know, we all talk about CSR now, but I actually think the companies have got much better in terms of marrying their CSR agenda with their marketing agenda, and those things can have great sort of community benefits and community engagement. We're seeing a lot of businesses engaging with arts projects that are about delivering culture to maybe communities that don't have access to it normally. I think that Business to Arts is kind of uniquely placed to find the best relationships between business and the arts, because we're having those conversations every day. Interesting that I should be standing here talking to you, because these are the actual award sculptures from the last 23 years of the Alliance Business to Arts Awards, and they're specifically run every year to find the best examples and the best case studies. The reason we need to do that is, number one, to celebrate the people who are doing it and the people who are doing it well, and then equally to create these great case studies and find the great examples that we can tell other businesses and other arts organisations, say, look what's happening out there. Interestingly, each year of the last 23 years, Dublin Airport Authority and Arienta as was have commissioned a different artist every year to create a limited edition sculpture which becomes the award. So it's a really nice thing for businesses, because they get to take away a piece of art that gets added to their collection. And it's not just that kind of usual piece of tin or piece of glass that sort of, you know, ends up in a sort of cabinet. So it's really nice. I love going into companies and seeing them in the reception area different years. and it becomes a real kind of take-home thing, which is lovely. So we work a lot with arts organisations, and what we were finding was that yes, it's really easy for us to sell an arts organisation to a business, but it can be really hard for us to sell an individual artist. And we were constantly having conversations with artists who were looking for small amounts of money and being frustrated because we couldn't help them. So that was kind of part of the motivation of why we started Fund It, which is a web platform that we set up just over 3 years ago now, to help Irish artists access crowdfunding, because at the time that we set it up, the international platforms weren't available to artists in Ireland unless they had bank accounts in the US and the UK. So we set up fundit.ie. It became Ireland's first crowdfunding platform for creative ideas. And in the 3 years, I think about 610 projects have been completely funded, and that's from all over Ireland, from every county. And those funds are coming in from all over the world. So 2.2 million has been paid out to projects, which is phenomenal, and that many of them wouldn't have happened without that support. Now, for a lot of them, it wasn't the full amount of the project. They might have had Arts Council funding, and it was just a small piece to get it over the line, to get it finished. So that can be everything from film, theatre, craft, to science and technology. So it's every area of creativity, not just the arts.
But I mean, like you saw the shoe to get one, and then it's like,
So I'm Richy Quinn. I'm a ceramic sculptor working out of Kilmacthomas, Waterford. Originally what I did was I left school, applied for art college from school, left. I didn't get in anywhere. I ended up doing a portfolio course and I got into Dunleary graphic design. It was kind of funny. It was strange. I was actually pointed very badly. I was always very fine art orientated, and I just kind of ended up sort of being, if I'd gotten into NCAA, I'd probably been fine because I had the core year and stuff like that. But I ended up in graphic design, and I was the worst graphic designer on the face of the planet. I was so bad, and the teachers just had no faith in me, and I was just useless and terrible. I left, and then I worked as a bin man for a while, and that was kind of my full-time job, and I wasn't even kind of contemplating going back to art, because I figured, I sort of had this feeling like that if I failed at that I'd fail at anything else I'd tried. And then I kind of just ended up sort of thinking about the portfolio again, and it was sort of like, oh, you know what, I got to give it a shot. So I ended up applying again, got into NCAD, and sort of went from there, you know. So I did 4 years in there, and then I did a master's. I took a year out in between, and I went to Edinburgh, and then I came back, did my master's, and I've sort of just been scraping by and trying to make it work ever since, you know. I was getting tired of Dublin. I was here after I finished. I've been here a long time. After 2 years of trying to be an artist, wasn't working for me here. You know, it was just the accommodations are just starting to go up and up and up. I don't know. I was kind of sick of being surrounded by people I continuously knew. You know, I wanted a bit of isolation. I wanted to be sort of out there on my own. I was half thinking of doing a new course in outdoor activity instructors, traineeship, whatever, by FOSS. And I'd also went and looked at the sculpture factory in Cork, and I'd looked at this place, and I'd applied for a few jobs, and I knew that I just couldn't spend another year on the dole trying to make it work as an artist. You know what I mean? Kind of, I just because I knew it was 2 years I'd done that. I knew there was something that just wasn't working. Yeah, so then to Waterford I went. One thing is, I don't want to come across all preachy and like I'm trying to send a message in my work, because really I just make the work, and the work is what it is, and you know, people can like it or hate it or do whatever they want, I don't care. But it was kind of about my feeling of the way we sort of construct our civilization. It's sort of like building something on top of something living, and we don't see the world as something that's alive, but we kind of continue to build and build and build, and there's got to get a point where we build too much, and that living thing can't take the weight anymore, and it crumbles, you know. And that's my nice optimistic, happy message that I was trying to get across in this work. But yeah, so these were kind of this. It's even a while ago now, but I remember this was kind of about the idea of sort of. It was called the primal, and it's like this this idea of just a kind of primitive being, this sort of primitive essence of what we kind of all are, because I think no matter what kind of clothes we put on, or cars we drive, or what jobs we work, we're still cavemen underneath it all, and we can pretend that we're as far removed from that stuff as we want, but really it's always there, and it's always, you know, it's the reason why people go out and get drunk and get into fights on the streets, and you know, and just trying to ride each other and do all these kind of things, because we've just got this animal nature to us. And it was kind of the idea of that, and it's sort of being weighed down or carrying the sort of the buildings, which were kind of like the idea of the civilization. And this was kind of a different one. This was like this creature kind of it wasn't the first time I'd done this guy, actually. He showed up in a few different things, but he was sort of an idea of kind of like depression or something like that, you know, these kind of negative, nasty feelings. And the way he's sort of like leering over the buildings and kind of weighing down on them and sort of like toppling them a little bit. And yeah, and it's kind of, I had this little blindfold mask on him, or if you can kind of see what it's like there. And I guess the idea of that was always, it's sort of that, you know, his actions are kind of blind, there's no point to them. And yeah, that was sort of the story of the pieces, really.
What?